This is Coogan Cassius for Rifle TV in association with Macklin's Gym Marbella. With me, I've got boxer Tommy Jacobs. How are you, Tommy?
Hello, Coogan. Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's all right, no problem. Right, I want you to really sort of explain sort of the last few years of your life. You've got a little bit of a story to tell, and just back up for me from your amateur days as a boxer.
Okay, yeah, well, this is sort of a bit of a Cinderella Man story. As a youngster, I was quite a good amateur. Won a fair few national titles on the England team with all your sort of big names that are about today. Your Groves, Billy Joe Saunders, Cant. I unfortunately got convicted of a crime, ended up spending some time in jail. Turned my life around, done a lot of good stuff in there. Got to come out early release, working with kids, training them in local gyms and things like that, whilst I was still inside. But now I'm going to embark on turning professional and taking my career to how high it should be already. Obviously, a few years behind where I should be.
So I believe you had around 60 amateur fights before you went into prison, and so and you're telling me you were thinking of turning professional. So obviously it wasn't just a setback in your boxing career to go to prison. It was a huge setback in your life in general.
Oh yeah, it did. It set my life back. It's put my life on hold for that whole time. Obviously, I'm a bit older than I'd like to be when I turn over, but on the other side, I've been living like a Buddhist monk for the last few years, so I haven't been taking no headshots. A little bit older than I would like to be, but I think I'm still pretty fresh. Been doing some sparring with some good lads. I've only been about for the last month, and I've been sparring some good boys, and that's been going quite well. There's a few people getting interested in me. I just got to speak to all the different options and see what's best for myself.
So you spent the last 6 years inside, and obviously that your boxing career has been quite prevalent on your mind and wanting to resume that, but obviously it's not that simple, is it? You've come out and it's like you kind of have to start again.
Oh yeah, it is. I've got to start from scratch. Don't get me wrong, like I say, I've been keeping myself fit, training all the time, things like that. For the last year, they used to let us out of prison 6 days a week because I got to the point where you behave, you get to an open prison. And I was working with youngsters, training at a local gym in Clacton, Fight Fit Systems, training all the kids, helping them, keeping them off the streets, being sort of a role model to them, explaining to them, look, where I am now to where I should have been, don't muck up, use your potential, do what you can do, stay out of trouble, and hopefully, once I turn over, whoever I go with, I'll become a bit of an ambassador for the sport, for the fact that people do make mistakes, but they can get back into it, turn their life around all through the sport.
Obviously, people looking in, and I'm not talking about your friends and your family, but just people that don't know you, that would, watch this and listen to your story, they would probably argue and say, why should someone who's, like I said, been in prison like you have, be given a pro license in the first place? How would you counter that?
Well, basically, obviously, I ain't going to turn around and say that I should never been arrested or should never been convicted or anything like that. Things happen, things that shouldn't have happened did happen, but I've turned my life around, mainly because of the drive to do well in my sport and the drive to look after my family. I want to do so well in this sport, and I know I can. I know I've got bundles of potential to give, and not giving me a licence is just going to hold me back. And what am I going to do? Go and be a personal trainer, something like that? I've got a lot to give. I've got a lot to give back to the sport as well. If it weren't for the sport, I could have potentially been in a lot worse troubles from a younger age. The sport is what is driving me forward.
I mean, you spoke to me off camera a little bit about, the reasons why. Obviously, you were sentenced and you spent a bit of time in prison. But I suppose everyone has a chance to sort of have a second coming and to learn or whatever from things that may or may not have happened, and you feel like you're in that position.
Oh yeah, definitely. Obviously, bad things do happen, but I've done a lot more good in my life than I've done bad. I just want a second chance to make the most of my life. I've served my time. I've been punished for whatever had happened. Now I just want to get on with my life, have a second chance, and give something back. Do you know what I mean? I do feel like I can be a great ambassador for the sport, for young kids, maybe going down the wrong path. Like I say, I already work with quite a few young children at the moment, teaching them to go down the right path, hopefully through sport. Not necessarily, it don't have to be through boxing, but through anything. Like I'm a qualified football coach, all sorts of things. And I love working with kids and letting them know that you shouldn't be doing the wrong things. And I think sport is one of the best ways to do it. And obviously I'm a bit biased towards boxing because it's my life.
How difficult have you found it since you've been out to resurrect your boxing career? Because like I said, it's one of them sports where, listen, you're not the first person, a boxer who's been in prison. I'm sure you won't be the last one, but you know, how difficult has it been for you personally to try and, you know, pick up where you left off?
Obviously, the main thing is just getting back into the swing of things. Luckily, where I've got a bit of an amateur pedigree about me, still people out there have given me a chance. Like I've been sparring down at West Ham, Gary Corcoran, doing a bit with him, Sam McNess, Jordan Reynolds recently. And people are, rather than taking me on what I've done, taking me on my amateur pedigree and what I've done in the past in boxing, there's a few people contacting me about turning over. Obviously, I haven't made any decisions yet because I want to see what options are open for me. I don't think it's going to take too long. My fitness is not too bad at the moment. That's probably the main thing. I think a good hard camp of sparring, training and getting myself conditioned, I'll be able to fly through the rankings pretty quickly once I turn over.
What are the main things in the last 6 years, really, have you learnt and have you developed in your character and as a person? Because like I said, when you were put in prison, I think you were either 21 or 22, you're now 27. So, you know, what positive things can you take from that period?
I've matured incredibly. I've grown up a hell of a lot. When I was arrested and that, I was very young. I was very naive, very immature. Probably doing things I shouldn't have been doing, mixing with the wrong crowds, doing the wrong sort of things. But I've absolutely matured so much, and I've had to. I haven't had no chance. But it's been a massive learning curve. I mean, I've learnt so many things. It's more to life than wasting it away doing whatever you want. I need to get out there, look after my family, earn a good living, and do what I'm passionate about. I've put the past behind me to go with prison and things like that, and all I want to do is just use it as a bit of fuel to push me forward in the future.
Moving forward, though, if you can't obtain a license from the British Boxing Board of Control, have you got other avenues that you will explore?
Of course, yeah. I'm really hopeful, and I have chatted with someone on the board, and they said that there isn't anything set in stone in regards to rules about people who have been in prison. Obviously, like you say, there are plenty of people that have been in prison before who have got boxing licenses. I have spoke to other boards, or I've been approached by other boards who know me or know of me rather, who have said about turning professional with them. But I'm a British fella. I want to be with the British Boxing Board of Control. I want to be fighting for Southern areas, English, British, and so on. And I want to be doing it through the correct sanctioning body, through them. That is what I want to do. I want to be with the British Boxing Board of Control.
So obviously, since you have been released, I believe you have had you've had a couple of fights since on the unlicensed circuit.
Yeah, I fought a little while ago on like a sort of semi-pro show. I had a couple whilst I was actually inside. They used to let us out on home leave to do things, and they used to let me go out to train with the army. I used to train with people on free para because one of my friends, he runs the boxing team there. I've had a couple of unlicensed fights, 3 in fact. I've won all 3 of them. With relative ease, the standard isn't the standard I'm at. I haven't been able to train properly for them, and I'm still levels and levels above them. I don't want to be doing that. I want to be boxing professionally, and that's what I need to be doing. I'm certain once I get my licence, hopefully with the British Boxing Board of Control, I'll be able to make big waves in the sport.
How are you planning on, like I said, using the last 6 years as a positive? It's a big chunk of your life. You're only young still at 27, but that's taken out a big part of your sort of early 20s life. So how are you planning on using that and that sort of time that you spent there into some sort of positive energy moving forward?
Well, again, like I said, obviously it is a lot of years to be missing out on the sport, but I haven't been taking those shots. There's no miles on my clock. Although I'm 27 years old, physically I'm still the same age as I went in there. I haven't even had to put up with pollution since I've been in there. Although, do you know what I mean, it's a bad thing going into prison. I've just been living clean completely, been studying, got loads of qualifications, done loads of charity work, things like that. And things that I want to put into the future as well. Like I raised a hell of a lot of money for children's charities, Great Ormond Street Hospital, things like that, all through sport. I've run marathons in there, everything I've done has been a positive, and it's all through sport. And I want to do that still throughout pushing forward, but do it with my boxing rather than having to do something else. Boxing is what I need to be doing. I'm going to use the last 6 years to just fuel my desire to go forward. Obviously, I've missed out on a big part of what should have been an already good career through being where I shouldn't have been. So I need to get going quick. I want to get going fast. I want to get my record up as quick as possible. But 6 years ago, I'd have probably signed over with you if you had a promoter's license. I would have gone with anyone. Whoever put pen and paper in front of me, I'd have signed it. Would have probably been mugged off. Would have gone with the wrong deal. Fought anyone just because I wanted to be in there doing it. Now, got a bit more business-minded, a lot more grown up, and I think I'll make a lot more better decisions.
Well, listen, Tommy Jacobs, thanks for talking to IFL TV, and like I said, I'm certainly no judge or jury, and it's not down to me to sort of, say what's right and what's wrong in certain situations, but the bottom line is, right or wrong, you have served your time for something you were convicted of, so it's all about moving forward, and, you look like you're aiming to do that.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously, like I say, I just want to get my licence or the Border Control. I've got quite a big company looking at trying to sponsor me. I've got a meeting with them next week. I think it's New World Forestry. They're looking at backing me because they watched me through my amateur career, and they know the potential that's there, and they know what good I can do through the sport. So I've got people behind me. I just need to make the right moves, get my licence and start fighting, and then I'll be on my way to winning titles.
Okay, Tommy Jacobs, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV, and listen, keep us updated on any progress you have and see how you get on with trying to obtain a licence.
Thank you, Coogan. Thanks a lot, I will.